Us movie ending explained. Is Adelaide really red? Mirror Online. Us movie leaves us wondering who is real, who is tethered, and what identity really means. Jordan Peele and Poe. Us movie Us is finally out, but the ending may leave you with more questions than answers. There and Poe. A twist right at the end that you may have seen coming, but still are trying to get your head wrapped around. The movie tells the story of Adelaide, a little girl who goes missing at the beach for 15 minutes after wandering into one of the attractions where she sees a double of herself. Skip forward and she and Poe is married with 2 kids on her way to her family vacation home based at the same beach. We soon learn we see Adelaide leave her family and chase after her tethered who has taken her son. They head down into the tunnels, past the escalator and into the tunnel where rabbits run about as they and Poe be broken free from the cages. This is the build-up to the main showdown. Adelaide confronts her tethered as the creepy music plays, asking why she and Poe is doing this. Red explains, then the tethered stabs her with the scissors as Adelaide pursues her. We won and Poe, she and Poe is dead. Adelaide finds her. They head above ground to find Gabe and her daughter who are still at the paramedic van. They pack in and as the family drive away, her son looks at his mum strangely like he and Poe is wondering something. Adelaide turns to meet his eye and smiles. We know from her creepy smile that actually this ISN and Poe. The and Poe. Real and Poe. Adelaide. The final reveal is the main twist of Us, and the moment most people will end up trying to work out. If we go back to the beginning in 1986, when we first see the young Adelaide, it all makes sense. She walks off and heads to Santa Cruz Beach into the Hall of Mirrors, where she accidentally finds the entrance to the tethered tunnels. She does and Adelaide meets Red face to face at the beginning of the movie, so when her parents later say she changed after the beach, it wasn't and Poe. An expression, she quite literally was another person. It and Poe. Why Adelaide didn't and Poe speak and behaved differently. She was one of the tethered. Red lived Adelaide and Poe's life. She got married, had children and lived above ground, all while Adelaide had to echo her choices below. She still clung on to her previous life in the tunnels. She wore the Hands Across America t-shirt, linking back to the advert she watched before heading to the beach. It and Poe. This t-shirt that inspires her and gives her hope of escape. She influences. We realize at the end of the movie that while the family survived, they don't and Poe realize that the Adelaide they know has been a tethered the whole time. They and Poe. It raises questions over so many things. Red is, after all, Jordan Peele has talked about the tethered saying they and Poe. A reflection of us. We're our own worst enemy, and that idea created this monster, the tethered. I wanted to forge it could be the tethered come from our trauma and the emotions and trauma we can end Poe deal with, explaining their more erratic behavior and murderous tendencies. Adelaide and Poe's tethered is at the center of the story, especially with the twist. Peele added at the film and Poe's premiere on the broader strokes of things, this movie is about this country. I was stricken with, some fans have argued Us as a title can be taken to mean several things, us as in the other, us as in ourselves, and us as in USA. Take that as you will.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.